Shalom. Glad to have you guys tonight. Welcome to another edition of our Hebrew Immersion Language Lab. Very glad to have you all here with me today. So tonight, we will be dealing with Exodus chapter 4, verse 14 is where we will start. Shalom, Christopher, Dr. Dwayne, Vicky, Elizabeth, Brenda. Welcome to you all. Everyone is welcome to ask questions or share comments over here in the live chat as we go through this today. Looking forward to hearing your comments. Avinu Malkeinu Todah Lecha L'chol Asher Natata Lanu. תודה לך לתורתך וגם למשיחנו ישוע. תעזרנה אותנו הלילה הזאת ללמוד טוב את דבריך בעיניך וכל הדברים האלה אנחנו נברכך בזכות ישוע המשיח. All right, let's get started. So here we are. Please let me know if you hear me okay. I'm streaming. I see it streaming. The microphone is not muted, so good. Should be able to hear all right and see everything. And I see over here on the stream, it says excellent connection. So I will assume that you can hear me. So here we are. Exodus chapter 4, verse 14. Vayichar af Adonai. So yichar means he got angry. He got hot. Literally, he got hot. Okay? So, vayichar, got hot. What got hot? Af Adonai, the nostril of Adonai. Okay, now again, this is idiomatic. The nostrils represent anger, as does heat. Right? So, vayichar af Adonai, the nostrils of Adonai got hot, means Adonai became very angry. Against Moshe, Vayomer, so he said, and he said, and we have a whole big block here, so maybe let me show you the whole cartoon frame. Moshe's like, whoa, he's talking a lot. Whoa, look at all those words. He's kind of doing an inverse Aaronic benediction there. Instead of Aaronic benediction, live long and prosper, he's doing one of these, right? Look, it's the opposite. Whoa. All right, let's go ahead and see what he says. Hello, Aharon, Achicha, Halevi. Hello. This hey here, this is the hey interrogative, so it's asking a question. Right? Like the upside down question mark you have in Espanol at the beginning of a sentence. Hello is not Aharon, that's a name. Achicha. Cha is your ach, your brother. Halevi, the Levite. Yadati, I know. Ki daber yedaber hu. That daber yedaber. That indeed he will speak. Right? So again we have that. What we talked about last time. I believe someone was saying that the chumash they were looking at, the stone chumash that they were looking at, was translating an infinitive absolute that came before the verb as continuously, right? Or maybe that was on Shabbat. It might have been on Shabbat. Oh yeah, I think I'm confusing the drash on Shabbat. But anyway, usually when the infinitive absolute comes first, usually like 80% of the time or more, this means indeed, right? So you see you have the same verb, and the first part is this particular form. So indeed, or definitely, yedaber, he will speak. Who? He. So it's emphatic pronoun. We already have yedaber. That means he will speak. So it says he will speak. He. You see? Vegam, and also, hine, behold, hu yotse loqrateka. Who? He. Yotse. Now this is a participle. There is no time in a participle, right? Not in biblical Hebrew. In modern Hebrew, it's a quote-unquote present tense. But this is not what it is in biblical Hebrew. In biblical Hebrew, you just have to look and see what the time in the context is. And we put that time in here. Okay, so who, he, yotze will go out, or it could be is going out. Loqrateka. So here we have the infinitive loqrat, which is from kara, to meet, not to call, but to meet. Cha, you. Viraeka. When he ra'a, this is ra'a, so resh, aleph, hey, and it's one of those lamed hey verbs where the last letters are hey, and it fell away. So it might be hard to see what this verb is if you don't remember that, because we just had the resh and the aleph yet left. So resh, aleph, hey is see, v'ra'a, and when he sees cha, you, v'samach, he will rejoice, bilibo, in his heart. Any comments or questions? Let me just take a quick drink here. You guys, are you hearing me all right? Everybody's here? Or are you just tuned in and doing other stuff? Oops. Sorry, it's quite thirsty. So where were we? Oh yeah, okay. Valuable. Verse 15. V'dibarta, and you will speak. Dibarta, you will speak. El, unto I've, him. Elive. V'samachta. Pardon me, Vesamta. I was rereading Samachta. Vesamta, and you shall place et hadevarim, the words, befiv, in his pay, in his mouth. All right, shalom, Vicky. Thanks. Glad you can hear well. Ve'anochi, and I, echyeh, I will be. So this is the verb haya. The aleph at the beginning is showing us it's I. So, I myself will be. Because literally it says, and I will be. So, and I myself will be aim with picha, your peh, with your mouth. The aim, and with pihu, his mouth. Vehureytiy etchem et asher taashun. Vehureytiy, and I will teach. This is again from the word yara. Yara means to shoot, like to shoot an arrow, or to teach. This is the Hifil form, to teach. And this is where we get the word Torah. Torah comes from this. Vehureytiy, and I will teach etchem, you all, et, we don't translate, asher, what? Taashun, you shall do. Peragogic noon there. Okay. Verse 16. Sorry, I need another drink. It's not vodka. Please take a moment to click like if you like these series. I would greatly appreciate that. Verse 16. By the way, remember, there's a burning bush over here. Just we're zoomed in kind of close so that those on cellular phones can still see what's happening. Christopher says it's gin. Negative. V'diberhu, and diber means he spoke, but v'diber means and he will speak. Who? He himself, lecha, to you, or for you. For you is better. Remember, lamed can mean to or for, and in poetry can mean from, some other things, but okay. So, for you, el, unto ha'am, the people. V'haya, and he will be who? Okay, so he himself will be, because literally it says, and he will be he. You see? So we need to say like he himself will be. We have another yitse. He will be lecha. And he will be for you. Lefe. For a mouth. Ve'ata, and you, tichye. So same verb is here. This was vehaya, and he will be. And yichye, he will be. And now we have tichye, means you will be. Shalom, Joshua. Notice the tav at the beginning? So that's telling us you will be. But we already have you. So again, literally, and ve'ata, and you, tichye, you will be. So and you yourself will be lo for him, le'elohim, like God, or for God. So it's a metaphor. Hashem is telling Moshe that Aaron will be like, kind of like a prophet. He'll be the one speaking to the people, and you'll be for him like God, right? Basically like I'm being for you right now. Christopher asks, the vav is not a conversive vav for past tense in yedaber? Let me look. It is conversive. So diber would be perfect, right? That would be a perfect, which often we would translate as a past or as prophetical perfect, right? So past, diber, he spoke, right? Or who, diber who, he spoke he himself spoke. The vav, you're right, Christopher, it is a conversive. So it changes it to he will speak, an imperfect. It could mean he is speaking or he will speak, right? So, although in poetry that can even be past progressive, sorry, but we're not doing poetry tonight. So good question. Yes, it absolutely is a vav conversive. Okay. Any other comments or questions? All right, verse 17. Ve'et hamate hazeh. Now notice we're getting the object before the verb here, okay? And I taught you guys a principle I mentioned to you the other day that when you have your verb in biblical Hebrew and you put the et in front of it, often, well, there's a couple things that could be happening. It could be simple emphasis, right? You can be emphasizing because it's not the normal word order. The normal word order is verb, subject, object, right? So when we move one of those things, usually there's some kind of emphasizing happening, right? So it might be just some normal emphasis, or it can be what we call the accusative of means. I like to call it the instrumental. Some languages have an instrumental case. Same thing is what we mean by accusative of means. It means the thing by which the verb is being accomplished, you see? Or it's assisting the verb somehow. All right, so this is kind of an advanced Hebrew syntax thing. So some of my advanced students, I hope you guys appreciate this knowledge. So ve'et hamate hazeh. So literally it says ve and hamate, the staff, hazeh, this one. Tikach, you shall take. Right, it's from lakach. Here, just like we had tav over here for the tav, and tichye means you will be. Tikach, you will take. Beyadecha, in your hand. Asher, with which. Ta'asebo, you shall do with it. Et, we don't translate. Haotot, the signs. Okay, the signs. Let me leave that there for a second. Now it's kind of a mouthful. Let's see if anybody has anything they want to say about that. And I'm going to turn on some temperature control. One moment. My new light kit, my new light is making me feel a little hot. Okay. Good. All right. Alrighty. We are on verse 18. Vayelech Moshe. Vayashav el yeter chotano. Vayomer lo. Okay. So Vayelech. Yelech means he goes. Vayelech. So, and he went. So he went. Moshe. So Moshe went. Vayashav. And he shuved. He returned. Remember we mentioned last time about verbs that have a u in the middle. It disappears often. They're called hollow verbs. Well, here it's gone. And he returned el yeter unto, this is yithro. So yeter, it's from the same. Yeter means excess, or it can mean like quality substance, right? Like a good yield. Choteno, his chotain, his father-in-law. Vayomer, and he said lo to him. Make sure you're not confusing these lo's with the ones that have an aleph, right? That means no or not. This is to him. Okay, so here, let's see them talking. Hey, what's up? Having a little chat there. Relaxed on his purple cushion. I like that. I want one of those. Okay. So here's what Moshe is going to say. I love that Moshe doesn't say, so God appeared to me and blah, blah, all this stuff. Here's what he says. Elechana. So again, this is from the same verb as this. Halach. Here the hay is gone. Here the hay is gone again, okay? A, the aleph is I. So this is an imperfect form with an emphatic hay at the end, or we can call the whole form the cohortative, depending on what kind of grammar you're using. So, Eilecha means let me go, let me walk. Na, please. Ve'ashuva, again, we have the hay at the end here, right? So that's emphatic. And then here's the aleph. And ashuva, I will return, let me return, el, unto akhai. So ach is brother, achi means my brother, akhai means my brothers. Just like Adonai is my Lord, Adonai is my Lord's, right? Okay. Asher, who, and we have to say are in English, bemitzrayim, in Egypt. Again, same form, cohortative. Ve'erei, this is from Reish Aleph Hey, to see. Ve'erei, and I will see, or let me see. By the way, these are not vav consecutives, Christopher. Right? You'll notice they're not changing the time. Context is how I can tell with these. Ve'erei, and let me see. Haodam. So the hey, it's what we saw before. It's that question mark hey. This is a question. Okay? It's a hey interrogative. Okay? And then the mem at the end means them. So the word, if you didn't recognize it at first, the word is od. Od means still. So haodam. Are they still? That's what that one word means. Haodam. Are they still chayim? Alive. Right? Like lechayim. Right? We say when we drink. Okay? Any comments or questions over there? Don't be shy. If you're confused or you feel it's over your head, that's okay. This language immersion, the Hebrew immersion, is intended to be for all different levels. So wherever you guys are at, okay? By the way, I don't know if you caught it yesterday. I did something that's kind of typical of language mixing. Hold on. At first, the word pikeach, meaning seeing in Hebrew, it was grouped with a bunch of negative words like mute, meaning can't speak, right? Cheresh, can't hear, and pikeach, right? This one, seeing, and averim, like blind, right? Okay, and my mind grouped it as negative, and so instead of pikeach Hebrew, at first I translated like pakachta or fakachta in Yiddish, which is like crazy or messed up, right? And so I said, and those that are messed up, like messed up in the head. And then I caught myself, wait, that can't be right. And then I went back and, okay, it's a positive one. So in case you're wondering what was going on, I've been working on my Yiddish lately. And so this happens sometimes with whatever language you're working on. For though you polyglots out there, you'll know this. Whatever foreign language you're currently really working on, that's the one that's going to present itself sometimes. And so these words, they had a similar sound, right? Fakakta and pakeach. Right? So since it's all negative words, my mind went with the negative one at first. So sorry about that for those who went through that last night. But at least I caught it while we're still live. Like, it didn't quite feel right. And so, Baruch Hashem, we got it worked out. So, same consonants as the Yiddish word, meaning like messed up, but it's not the same. All right. So, let's see. Here we go. Let's continue then. Okay. And now we're going to see what Yether says. Vayomer Yitro. By the way, notice the same guy. Over here, it just called him Yether, right? And now it's calling him Yithro, right? But that's from the same root. That's okay. Yithro would be his excess or his quality substance, presumably God's. Vayomer Yithro, and Yithro said, by the way, you might notice I'm pronouncing it as a TH. Over here it was Yether, and over here it's Yithro. So this, even though we're reading in Sephardic Hebrew, because this is the predominant minhag that's in Israel today, at least that's, not in synagogue services, but spoken. Ashkenazi Hebrew maintains a different pronunciation with a tav when there's no dot and there is a dot inside, right? When there's no dot, we'd say yisro, and if there were a dot, we'd say yitro, right? So it's a T with a dot and an S without, right? So this would be yeser here instead of yeter. But in ancient Hebrew, it was a TH sound. So with names, I like to do the pronunciation they had. So for example, Adam and Chava, we usually say Chava, but her name has a Vav, which was a W sound. So I like to call her Chawa, because these are names. I don't think names should change over time. The name is the name, right? So if you hear me do that and you're confused, like, oops, my tablet just turned off. Look at that. I guess it died. That's okay. I don't think we really need it. If you're like, why is he pronouncing that as a TH? I didn't learn it that way. That's why. Just so there's some method to the madness. I'm just used to doing it like that. So, right. Vayomer Yithro le Moshe. Then Yithro said to Moshe, Lech, go. Right. You should remember this from the Torah portion called Lech Lecha. Get yourself up and go, or go for yourself. When God is talking to Avram, right? He just divorced all the nations, all the peoples. He set the sons of God over them, and then he wants to immediately start his vehicle of salvation for the world. He wants to create a new nation, which all the righteous should eventually be grafted into, and that is Israel. So he tells his servant Avram, Lech Lecha. So here we have the same form, Lech, go. From halach, the hay is gone. This is an imperative. Lech leshalom, go peacefully. Okay. Everybody good? All right. I don't think we'll go quite as long as we did last night. So, relax. All right. Verse 19. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe b'Midyan. Then Adonai said, El unto Moshe, in Midian. Okay, so now here we have the quote. Again, Lech. See? Same thing that Yithro told him. Lech. Lech, go. Shuv is from the verb shuv. Usually we have the vav in the middle, but again, it's a weak verb that disappears. Shuv is the imperative form of return. Shuv, return Mitzrayim, to Egypt. And it's a little strange. Usually we would expect a command like this to go to Egypt should be Mitzrayim ma, with a he at the end, like direction towards Egypt. So that might be a point of deeper study for those of you who like to use the Jewish method of interpretation of Pardes, where the pei is the pshat, the simple high-level meaning, which is what we're doing mostly in these lessons. And then we have the reish is for remez. It's like a hint, so we go a bit deeper, right? And then we have the dalet. The d is for darash, like to seek, to search for something deeper. You can think of deeper. And then finally the samech, is for sod, which is the secret or the deep level, right? So there might be something deeper happening here, like maybe a gematria thing or something else. Who knows? The fact that it doesn't have the proper grammar there. Ki metu kol ha'anashim. Ki, because metu, they died. And by the way, if you want to remember this word, mate, or I'll just say met, okay? There's a reason I'm going to say met. A way to remember that met means dead or death, especially for those of you who are in America. Have you ever seen those big billboards with Snoopy from Met Life Insurance? And it says, get Met, it pays. I used to always laugh at that when I saw it, because Met means dead. So like if you're thinking in Hebrew, get dead, it pays. And that's true. That's the only way that life insurance pays, is if you die. Then your life insurance pays. You win, so to speak, right? So that's a way you can maybe remember this word if you didn't know it yet. Okay. All right. Ki metu, for the u means they. For they died. Now we'll get the subject, right? Remember, it's verb followed by subject. Kol, all, ha'anashim, the men or the people. Hamevakeshim. So bikesh is to seek, looking for. So in the ha is the way the Torah says who. So if any of you have studied modern Hebrew, this would be a she, usually in modern Hebrew, right? So ha mevakeshim, those who seek. Also in the later prophets, you'll get a she. Et, what are they looking for? What were they looking for? Naphsheka. So if you just learn nefesh as soul, that's a little bit weird. They're seeking your soul? What? What is he saying? They're seeking your soul. What does that mean? No, this word means a lot of things. Nefesh, Hebrew is highly nuanced. Biblical Hebrew is highly nuanced, right? So context is very important. And I know it's almost a cliche these days, right? When someone says context is king. But with biblical Hebrew, it's so true. So true. So you can't just depend on a single gloss on a word. Seeking your soul. So it actually means many things. Where are we? Okay. Down here, sorry. Okay. Nefesh can mean soul. It can mean life, which is what it means here. They seek your life. It can mean throat or neck. It can mean a corpse. A lot of different meanings, right? So it can mean breath, even breath sometimes. All right. So here we picked the right meaning. I think clearly they wanted to kill him, so they sought your nefesh. And any kind of word that is a like melech, if you put a suffix on the end, it changed to ma. So melech is king, my king, malki. Nefesh is soul or life or whatever. My life would be nafshi, right? Your life, naphsheka. Your king, malkecha. Okay. Your book, safrecha, etc. Although that one sometimes goes to sifrecha. Anyway, so I should have introduced sefer. All right, so let's continue. Verse 20. Can I reach there? Oh yeah. Okay. Verse 20. Vayikach Moshe et ishto. Okay. Then Moshe took, and he took, we don't translate et, ishto, his eshet. So this is from Isha. Isha is a woman. Okay. He took his woman, or wife, you could say, et, and banaiv, his banim, his children, or his sons rather. We know he doesn't have daughters yet, so he took his sons. Vayarkivem. So rachav, this root has to do with mounting, riding something, right? Riding something for the purpose of travel. This is where we get the word markava, which is a chariot, right? Or in modern Hebrew, it means tank, right? So a chariot. But this is the verb. This is not the noun. I just wanted to make that association so that you kind of get a free word in there. So this is a Hifil form of rakav. Rakav is to get on, like to ride. So Hifil means to cause. So he caused to ride or to mount them. Again, who's the them? Ishto ve'et banaiv. His wife and his
sons. Okay, vayarkivem, and he made them mount all upon hachamor, the donkey. Vayashiv aretsah Mitzrayim, and he returned. Aretsah is eretz. Remember I told you these words that have an eh sound at the beginning? When you put something on the end, they become ah, right? Like up above, we just had that. Oops, sorry here. Naphsheka. Nefesh became naphsheka. Eretz becomes aretsah. This is the hey loqrateka. It means direction towards. Towards the eretz, towards the land of Mitzrayim, of Egypt. Vayikach Moshe, and Moshe took we don't translate, Matei ha-Elohim, the rod of God, the staff of God, in yado, his yad, in his hand. Any comments or questions? Not so many viewers today. Don't know what's going on. It's a shame. We had that real good week, and then we were down for several days. Hope we didn't break that stride. I kind of felt like we were breaking out of the shadow band or something. All right, so we are about 30 minutes in. Maybe we'll do one more page. Let me see. Maybe not the whole page. I don't want to weary you guys out. Let's just see. Let's see how it feels. Verse 21. Just see the whole picture here. Okay. Sorry. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe. So Adonai said el unto Moshe. What did he say? Vayichar lashuv Mitzrayim. See, there we have the Mitzrayim, the hey loqrateka, as is expected. Vayichar. This is kind of a hard form, guys. So halach changes this way into this form, okay? And we put when you put the bait in front of it, it means when, okay? And then instead of conjugating the verb, when we take this infinitive form, when we conjugate it, we don't conjugate anymore. Instead, we put a suffix at the end that agrees with whoever the verb is about, okay? So, vayichar, when you go, lashuv is another infinitive, but with the lamed there, to return, Mitzrayim. So there we have that direction, the hey loqrateka, towards Egypt. Now we have an imperative, a command. Re'eh, look out, look. Or see. Kol hamofetim, all of the wonders, all of the miraculous things. Asher, which, now notice that which is coming before the verb. So I'm going to say, with which, samti, I shall set veyadecha, into your hand. Shalom again, Brenda. Glad you're back. Ve'asitam. This is the verb asa. Okay? Asita means you will do. Well, means you did. Va'asita means and you will do them. Va'asita means and you will do them. Lifnei, before, like in the presence of Pharaoh. And I think I've shared with you guys, this is an Egyptian word. It's which was like a little enclosure, like meaning house, and then which is kind of hard to sketch. I don't think you'll see what I'm doing without drawing there. That's supposed to be a bird, like a vulture. It means big. So in Egyptian language meant the big house. That's what they called Pharaoh, the big house. Like we call the president's administration the White House in the States. Va'ani, and I myself, achazek, I will strengthen. Okay? So it says, Va'ani, and I,
There's that aleph. I will strengthen. So I want myself will strengthen. Et libo, his heart, his lave. Which usually when we see this word in biblical Hebrew, it's closer to the English word for mind. Not always, but closer to mind than literal heart, right? So I believe in my book, where I translate this, the book of Exodus, I think I said his resolve. You see his resolve there. Velo yeshalach et ha'am. Velo, and not yeshalach. So shalach is to send out, to send. And then with the dot in the lamed, that means like to expel, right? So velo yeshalach, he will not expel et ha'am, the people. Okay. So there they are. They're traveling, walking, traveling. Any comments or questions? Any grammar questions or vocabulary issues? Alrighty. Verse 22. Ve'amarta el paro. Ve'amarta, and you shall say, Christopher, the vav consecutive, or vav conversive, it goes by many names. El, unto paro, Pharaoh. Ko amar Adonai. So Christopher is asking, instead of expel, could it be reject the people? Well, I think usually we'd use a different word for reject there, Christopher. Maybe there could be a context where that would work as reject. You don't even really have to translate it expel like I was translating. I mean, the word can mean to banish, to expel, to divorce, right? Like the idea is you're sending her out of your house, right? So there is kind of a rejection implied in some of those cases, right? Like divorcing a woman, for example, right? So maybe, yeah, maybe. I don't think here, though. Yeah, but interesting. You might be able to dig for like a kind of a deeper meaning there on that, right? Maybe. Okay. Them, okay. Ko, such, or the famous thus. I think Dr. Duane will like thus. Amar saith Adonai, the Lord. Such said Adonai. Now here's the quote from Adonai. Beni, my son. See the yod? That's my bain. My son. Beni. Vechori. My bechor. Bechor means firstborn. Is, I'm probably going to say is, even though that's not in the Hebrew, but Hebrew doesn't usually put is in there. Yisrael. Verse 23. Vaomar elecha. So I say elecha, unto cha, you. Shalach et beni vayavdeni. Shalach. Send out, or expel, probably send out, he's saying, beni, my son. Vayavdeni. So, ya'avdeni. You might recognize Eved, servant or slave, right? Ya'avdei, that he may serve me. Okay. And here's the word. Here's a word for reject, actually, Christopher. It's the same as refuse. Ma'an. Vatema'ain. But, or if, to you, ma'ain, refuse. Vatema'ain, if you refuse, leshalcho, pardon me, to send out, him. Hine, behold, anochi horeg et bincha bechorecha. Hine, behold, or look, anochi, I, horeg, will slay, because it's already established, it's like a future tense, right? There's no time in this participle form of the verb. Bincha, your bane, your son.
bechorecha, your bechor, your firstborn. And of course, we find out later, it does happen, right? That does happen. But I think the Pharaoh did not believe him. Just as I keep thinking, let's maybe stop. We have more people coming in. I like this picture. I like that. And that's so true. We were talking about that the other night. What stars look like in the desert, in the Negev in Israel, or even if out in the boondocks somewhere. You get away from the light pollution and you look up at the stars. Amazing. Okay. This is one of the weirdest verses in the Bible coming up. So stay tuned. Maybe I'll make myself bigger for it. Verse 24. Vayhi vaderech bamalon, vayifgeshehu Adonai, vayvakesh hamito. Okay. Vayhi. Now it happened, vaderech, on the derech, on the way, bamalon, at the, it means the place where they yalin, where they spent the night. So it could be at a hotel. The modern Hebrew malon would be a hotel, right, or an inn. At the lodging point, maybe we'll say. Vayifgeshehu Adonai, that Adonai pagash, he encountered who? Him. Vayvakesh, and he sought, right? Bikesh is to seek. Hamito, to kill, him. Remember we mentioned before met, meaning die. This is a Hifil form of met, or what Christian grammars would call a causative verbal stem. In Jewish grammars, we'd say it's the Hifil binyan, right? The hint is you have the hey here at the beginning of the verb, and there's a yod injected before the last root letter, okay? That's to cause to met, to cause to die. Well, what is to cause to die? I didn't hurt him, I caused him to die. It's kill, right? It's kill, okay? Hamito, to kill, him. Verse 25. Watikach Zipporah. So, Zipporah, that's Moshe's wife, tikach, she took. It's from the verb lakach. That dagesh, the dot here, tells us that's where the lamed went. Right? Make sure to click the thumbs up, the like, if you like what we're doing, all right? So tzor, really this means flint, like the kind of rock, like flint. But you'll see this is used in the book of Joshua, tzorim. It's like flint knives they took when they did the second circumcision. Okay, so she took a flint knife is what it might mean. Again, context, right? It is flint, but you could see, like, people could say, like, imagine in ancient times, bring steel and we will fight, right? They mean a sword or something, right? So, flint. She took flint, or a knife. Vatichrot. So this is the verb karat. Kaf, resh, tav is to cut. Vatichrot, and she cut. So tichrot means she will cut. Vatichrot changes it, and she cut. Et orlat benah. So orla, if this was ending in a hey, means foreskin. Okay, it's also an unhewn tree. Okay, and the hey becomes a tav because it means of. So orlat, the foreskin of benah, her bane, her son. Any comments over there? We'll just finish up this page and be done, I think, because we're back down. We dropped another user, so I don't want to keep you guys too long. Ooh, does that fit there? Not quite, okay. There we go, okay. Here, there's the full picture. Okay. Vatiga leraglav vatomer. Vatiga from naga. It's one of those verbs that starts with an N sound,
a pay noon verb. And remember, the noon will drop away. This is one of those weak verbs. Naga is to touch. Okay, it can also mean like to touch with a plague or something too, right? So it can have a negative connotation or just literally to touch, right? So vatiga, and she touched le to raglav, his regel, his foot. Vatomer, and she said, Ki chatan damim atali. Ki, because chatan is a bridegroom of damim, of bloodshed. Ata, you are li, to me. By the way, maybe I'll mention this. I think it probably was to his foot, okay? It probably was. But just so that you know the possibilities, the translational possibilities. Regel, foot, is sometimes an innuendo in biblical Hebrew for private parts. Okay? So, she touched it to his feet. She could be doing some kind of weird thing because Moshe is also circumcised. She could actually be touching his, his schwanz, his butts, touching his private part, right? Maybe. I'm just saying that's. I don't think that's what it says, but that is a possibility. Okay. Brenda says, one of the manuscripts, Targums or another, said that Moshe didn't circumcise his oldest at the advice of Yithro. God was going to kill Moshe because he disobeyed his covenant, but Zipporah obeyed, saving Moshe. Could be. Could be. Yeah. Let's look up here. So, the problem is, yeah, and I'm familiar with that interpretation. It could be. The problem is, we're not told who the he is. You see? We don't know if it's Moshe that's going to be killed or the boy. So that's one possibility. Shalom, Alec, welcome. Just so you guys know, that's another possibility, right? Another possibility is Moshe might have circumcised him after the way of Egypt. A lot of people don't realize this, but the Egyptians, they also circumcised. They practiced circumcision in those days, right? Of course they do now because Islam basically copies Judaism, but before that, they still the Egyptians circumcised. So, but it's like, should I talk about this? Okay. It's what's called like a banana cut, okay? Whereas rabbinical circumcision is what's called a German cut, right? So it's a better circumcision, let's just say. Okay. So there's another theory that he did circumcise him, but it was the wrong way. He did it the Egyptian way, not the Hebrew way. I think your explanation of the angel of Hashem wanting to kill him, really, it's probably the Malach, the angel of the Lord, right? So it's probably Yeshua wanting to kill him. It would make more sense if there was some disobedience, like you said. So I do like the idea of not listening to God, not doing what he knew should be done for God, but actually listening to Yethro. There's another explanation that because of the travel requirements, that he wasn't able to circumcise him because they're going on a trip, right? And so he thought it's okay not to circumcise because it might be a pakoch nefesh, right? Like a life risk. Yeah. What's interesting is what's going to come up. Moshe's going to send Zipporah back home. And, Moshe's writing this later, right? He's writing this down. And you can almost see, it seems like there's a fight brewing between those two, right? I mean, look what she says. Because a bridegroom of bloodshed are you to me. It's not like sweet words, right? Seems like she's clearly despising the circumcision practice. So, and if we go with I think the same midrash that you're quoting, if we go with that midrash later on, when Yithro brings her back to Moshe in the Israelite camp, and it says, I'm sorry, this is Midrash Agada, it's a different one. Midrash Agada says that he experienced tingles all over him, right? And he immediately converted and got circumcised and all this stuff, so. which would imply that Midianites were not circumcised. They weren't like Egyptians. All right, good. Lots of interesting stuff there, but definitely one of the more difficult verses in the Bible to understand what's happening there. That Hashem's trying to kill him, right? I think the Targum says the molcho, but might have to look on that. All right. Finishing up with verse 26. Vayiref mimenu az amara chatan damim lamulot. Okay. All right. That might not be direct speech, but vayiref. So this is a bit harder to recognize. This verb here, the verb is actually rafa. Not rafa with an aleph, meaning to heal, but rafa with a hey. Resh, pei, hey means to let slack, to let go down, right? So later we're going to find the Pharaoh's going to tell the people, Nirpim atem. Nirpim, you are slack, you're lazy, right? From that same verb, a passive form, a nifal participle from rafa, right? So vayiref mimenu, and she let it drop from him, as when Amara, she said, Chatan damim lamulot, a bridegroom of bloodshed for circumcision or circumcising. Okay. There she's touching his feet. Hopefully that's what it was. Okay. All right. I think this is a good stopping place for us. Please make sure to click like if you guys liked it. Let me know in the comments. Are you enjoying the comic book? You want to keep moving with this? Should we, on certain days, have a psalm maybe? Do a psalm? Or if you missed the old Joshes, let me know too. We can also try to figure out what schedule to do that. Maybe we can double up on some days. I just don't want to make you guys too tired from learning. But keep up your learning. Keep up your studying. And for those of you doing the Nach reading, Chazak, we finished the book of Shoftim, Baruch Hashem, that's fun. Judges, if you didn't finish it, don't be discouraged, just do your best to keep up, or maybe jump on in with us now. Okay, great. So I'm going to let you guys go then. Have a great evening over here in Asia, a great morning over in the Western Hemisphere. Shalom, shalom, and catch you tomorrow. By the way, don't forget to check out our chat, t.me/messianic chat, and our other channel, which is so it's youtube.com/at Torah/ph. That's Torah/ph. Right. All right. And of course, Dr. Dwayne's teachings at matsadi.com. Yeah, Christopher says maybe we'll intersperse the Psalms off and on. You're very welcome, Vicky. Great. Brenda enjoys both. Okay, good. Glad to hear it. All right, you guys have a great rest of the day. Shalom, shalom.